What's up, YouTube gamers? Young Soul dropping another video, and I apologize I've been away for a long, but I've been playing this game quite a bit. And this is actually the purpose of the video. You probably already saw the title, so you know what I'm about to talk about, and that's why Xbox fanboys really hate Horizon Zero Dawn. Let me give you the realness, and let me just start out with saying I know most people are already going to pretty much know this information, and so it's kind of beating a dead horse. But what do I got to say? I like sometimes like pointing out the obvious, and pointing out their ridiculousness. Now the real reason why Xbox fanboys hate Horizon, simply put, it's everything they wanted their games to be. And I'm not specifically talking about the gameplay or the genre. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the specifics of the game, like the gameplay, the story, anything. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is it's what they wanted it's what they wanted their new IPs to be, as far as market share, mind share, yes, sales, yes, reviews. It's what they wanted their new IP to be in that regard. Here's what I mean. Let's go back to the beginning of the generation. When Xbox came out, they came out with a new IP, Rise, Son of Rome. Xbox fanboys were hyping this, and to this day still try to hype this game as the most beautiful game they ever seen. And some of them have even gone so far as to say it had a good story. Now, I tried it before I had an Xbox One. The story wasn't all that great. I never tried it after I got my Xbox One, so I never really went through the whole game, but it wasn't enough for me to go turn around and pick up. It's cheap now, and I still don't pick it up because it's not that compelling. I mean, the gameplay is okay. I'm not here knocking the gameplay itself, but the story wasn't compelling enough for me to. But they still claim, and some of them even tried to claim that The Last of Us was too boring to finish, but Rise had a good story. I'm just throwing that out there. Hey, opinion's opinion, but some people's opinion just can't be trusted, let's be honest. Okay, so anyway, it was Rise, Son of Rome, and they thought that could be the next big IP. Remember, they love to talk about how the OG Xbox had Halo. That was a new IP that like set the world on fire. Xbox 360 had Gears, set the world on fire. Then they were looking for that next big IP to set the world on fire, or to gain a lot of market share, mind share, sales, what have you. Okay, and that's what they wanted. So it was Rise, Son of Rome. Then a couple months later, Titanfall came out. Now Titanfall was really big, sold really well. I think majority of it sold on Xbox One, so it sold really well. And at that point, you heard Xbox fanboys again beating that drum of this is the new next IP, this is the big behemoth. And even so far, most of these prominent Xbox YouTubers and tweeters, Twitter people, whatever, were out there saying, things like Microsoft should buy Respawn, and if they can't buy Respawn, at least buy the Titanfall IP, and if they can't buy the Titanfall IP, at least lock down like the next one so it can stay exclusive, because they basically wanted this to be the next big thing. You see what I'm saying? And so that's why next big exclusive thing. Let me be blunt. And for this whole video, I'm talking about exclusive new IP. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so I might not mention the word exclusive like I didn't so far, but this is what I mean. Okay, that's what I mean. Exclusive. So they were trying to lock that down, but obviously we know that was not to happen. They don't own Respawn. They don't own, Titanfall IP. They still have Titanfall 1 as an exclusive, but the franchise itself will not be exclusive going forward, obviously. Okay, so the next game they had was later in 2014. So Titanfall was early, like February or March 2014. Later 2014, they got a game called Sunset Overdrive. Okay, a game that was pitched to Sony, but Sony wanted to own the IP, which, funny enough, all the Xbox fanboys now want Microsoft to go and buy these IP, but hated on Sony for wanting the IP up front. Go figure that. But anyway, Xbox fanboys then talked about Sunset Overdrive being the next big thing, the next new thing. Okay, and how that was going to be the what Gears was to Xbox 360, Sunset was going to be to the Xbox One. Of course, that game I tried, I played, I got it on Xbox Live Games with Gold, and I don't play it all that much. I think the gameplay is solid. I think the story is kind of too random for me. I can't really follow it all that well, but you know, because it's all over the place, and I think it's meant to do that because it's kind of supposed to be quirky and weird and funny, and like making fun of itself kind of thing, and that's cool for people who like it. So I'm not saying it's a bad game, but the problem is Microsoft bumbled that by dropping it right around the time of other big releases. I believe an Assassin's Creed came out. It was either Unity or it was Rogue or it was Syndicate. I can't remember which one, but like Assassin's Creed came out around the same time. Remember, that was the same month that Destiny dropped, and for whatever you think about Destiny's Destiny's story or its negatives, it sold a metric ton of versions, right? So that was that, and so that ended up being overshadowed. Even if it was, people do consider it good, it got overshadowed. All right, after that, it was 2015 actually, and someone can correct me in the comment section if you know any different, but 2015 they didn't have a single new IP come out. They had Halo 5, they had Rise of the Tomb Raider, and they had Forza Motorsport 6 in 2015. So they didn't, as far as major retail release games, they didn't have a new IP to my knowledge. Someone could correct me in the description. In the comment section. Anyway, moving on beyond that, 2016 they had Quantum Break, and this was supposed to be Xbox's new next thing. Rise wasn't it, Titanfall became multi-plat, Sunset Overdrive got overshadowed and didn't do all that well, but Quantum Break was in a time where no games were coming out, or no bigger games anyway, in April anyway. Of course, Uncharted came out a month later, but in April there was nothing bigger than Quantum Break. I mean, to my knowledge, at least nothing exclusive, and to my knowledge, nothing really multi-plat was that big coming out at the same time. If I'm not correct, please correct me in the comment section. I'd love to get, accurate information, but I'm going off the top of my head. Anyway, point is, Quantum Break comes out. They were claiming Jack Joyce, the next big thing. In fact, they were following Jack Joyce, who was the guy, the actor who played, what's his name on X-Men, the Ice guy? I can't remember, Iceman. I'm sorry, I'm butchering superheroes. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for that, but the Ice guy, he played the Ice guy, and the black guy from, was he from The Wire? I can't remember that. But anyway, point is, they were on the tweet of the actual actors acting like this was awesome, this is big, this is huge, when are you going to come back and start motion capping for the next game? And they were all ready, and then that sucker flopped. Now, I got through 59% of it. The story was actually pretty good. It wasn't a horrible game, but it just didn't have that it's going to be unbelievably huge appeal. That's just my opinion right there. So anyway, we move on to, so that ended up not happening, and then we move on to Recore. Recore, for 2 seconds, Xbox fanboys thought that was going to be the big thing. It turned out that didn't happen either. It was supposed to be, the woman protagonist versus the woman protagonist for Sony, and no. It turns out that wasn't even a AAA. It was something less than that. Again, I didn't play the game, so I'm not here knocking the game itself, but I'm knocking the fanboys who tried to claim that this game was going to be, earth-shattering or big. Anyway, that is the reason. They have been looking at those IPs as the next big thing. Turns out Sony has the next big thing. So that's my thoughts. You got any comments? Leave them down in the description. Any corrections, please, definitely down in the comment section. Other than that, let me know what you think, and I'll holla back.